What's up, YouTube? It's your girl TK Reacts, also known as TK Official. You guys, we back with another video. You guys, we're back with part two of abortion pills inserted while having sex. This is a story time. If you guys have not seen the first video, I advise you guys to go ahead and click out of this one. Go watch the first video and then come back and watch this one. Now, the first video was 15 minutes and 32 or I'm sorry, 15 minutes and 23 seconds long. So if this video exceeds 15 minutes, then there will be a part three. So, like I stated in the first video, I'm going to. She didn't make a video or and post it or anything like that. What she did was post it, post by post on Twitter, which was very unique. I kind of like this style, but like I said in the first video, I'm going to read through the threads. We're going to read the story together. And then at the end, I'll share my thoughts with you guys. And you guys can share you guys' thoughts with me in the comment sections. Everyone's opinions are welcome, no matter how you feel. So we ended off here. Um, we ended off right here. She said, told me he couldn't wait for our little family, all the while plotting to kill what was already formed tiny human baby inside of me. And then there was some text threads. So let's go ahead and just continue on. And like I said, if you guys have not watched the first video, click out of this, watch the first video, and come back. The link will be in the description box below. So she states, I reported the incidents to the police and handed over the pills for proper analysts as they would be able to decipher exactly what the pills were in their crime lab. Still have gotten no word back. Um, I texted him while I was in the hospital and told him I had gone for an abortion and wanted to have a kid with someone who was a better fit. I prayed he'd buy what I was telling him and wouldn't come looking for me to check if the deed was done to see if he had succeeded. He told me he respected my decision and wanted to be there for me. The same man that said that child was his reason to keep living so easily said, I respect your decision. No fight, no nothing. When I told him it had been completed, he asked me to tell him what they did for the procedure immediately. Now, like I said, I'm gonna talk about my thoughts, and comment on things after the video, but I gotta say something on this end. Why would you ask a woman how was the procedure? How was the abortion procedure? Play by play. That's how you know you got a narcissist. That's how you know you're dealing with a narcissist. So she's right here in silver. He's in blue. She says it's over. Yes. Wait, they did the procedure. He says it didn't take long at all. Uh, No, he's in silver. My apologies. So yeah, so he says, "Are you okay? Are you in pain?" She says, "No," and yes. Uh, what all did they do, if you don't mind me asking? So he know it was rude to ask. Why include if you don't mind me asking? Come on now. She says, "I don't want to talk about it. Look it up. Why are you even asking me that? It literally just happened. I want to be alone. I'm just asking you. Um, I'm just asking you if you're okay." She says, please just give me some space. Okay, so she shares that. And she got plenty of receipts, you guys. She goes on to say, he then asked if he could come see me. I told him I had developed bleeding and was in the hospital with my mom, which she really was in the hospital at this time. Um, so she wasn't lying. The hospital part was true, as I was in the hospital for days being monitored for any more leaking or infection that would quickly lead to the death of me and my baby. I stopped responding and he immediately stopped sharing his location. He never actually called my mom or my sister once to check on me. I knew then he was suspicious of being found out. The police then called him to the station to question him. The next thing he did was get on social media and ask for book recommendations, all to begin to try and act normal, not realizing that response was extremely suspicious in itself. The next day, he posted himself on Twitter and Instagram in front of his sports car to give the illusion that he was just going about life normally and didn't do anything he was being accused of. Um, So I'm guessing this is his post on Twitter. He goes on to say, I'm guessing when you're not right in the head, that is what makes sense to you, especially when you're told you lost your child the day prior and your ex is in a hospital, possibly hemorrhaging. As crazy as the story is, it gets even worse. One day in December, I had searched through one of my prenatal bottles to check to see how many more I had left before I had re-up. I noticed a smaller, hectagonal shaped pill that did not look like the others. Naively, I assumed the shape was some manufacturer malfunction, and I didn't take it because it didn't look like the rest. But I didn't question it either. After finding the two pills of the same shape that came out my body, I had later put together that this man had been switching out my prenatals throughout my pregnancy. At the time I had originally noticed this pill in December, I was around 8 weeks pregnant. Wow. Incredible. He had many opportunities to add and switch out my prenatals because he was left unsupervised with them a numerous amount of times. Nothing I thought twice of, because I never ever would have suspected what he'd do was a a possibility in my wildest nightmares. There were two separate occasions when the amount of prenatals left over in my bottle did not add up at all. I thought again it was malfunction, oversight, but it wasn't. When I first found out I was pregnant and said I was keeping the baby, he had essentially lost his shit. He was upset, told me he didn't want the baby, and said he'd leave if I kept the baby. Even resent me. I then called him and broke up with him. I made it epically clear I was not choosing him over my child. I did not need him in the slightest. He began to cry over the phone and kept asking me if it was over. I said, absolutely. A couple of days later, he came back to me apologizing, saying that he wanted our family and that he was just being a coward because he was afraid of how his parents and family would react. He begged for forgiveness and said he'd show me that he wanted to be in our life. I was a bit uneasy, but I agreed to let him try a decision I would regret for the rest of my life. This is sad, you guys. Goes on to say, about 2 weeks later, he had told me he made a smoothie from home and had one of his spiritual leaders pray over it. He asked me persistently to drink it and finish all of it. Constantly checked to make sure I drank it all. I faked as though I was drinking it, but ended up throwing it out as soon as he was out of my presence. At the time, I did question his intentions. Yeah, man, you gotta. So these are some text messages in between the two, him and her and her baby's father. I just advise you guys to just pause and read if it means that much, because I just don't want to make these videos too extensive. So yeah, just pause and read, pause and read. Okay. A couple of days later, he asked me to start taking gas pills from his culture to help with a severe gas problem. I told him I was uncomfortable taking it because at the time I didn't even want to take a Tylenol. In late December, he came to me and asked if he could be the one to administer my pills. I asked him why and said no at first because taking them took seconds and I could do it myself. He told me that he felt like he wasn't doing enough for me and wanted to be more involved. I've never in my life heard of a man wanting to dispense the woman's prenatal pills or any pills of that matter while they were pregnant. That's different. Um, yeah, red flag. So she continues to say, at the time I wasn't thinking he had already switched my pills. I agreed. There were days when he'd drive from his home directly for mine for the sole purpose of giving me pills and left. He'd sometimes pour the pills into his hand and put them directly in my mouth without me seeing, telling me to just swallow it quick so I wouldn't dwell on swallowing it. He did this for months. So yeah, she's coming with receipts, and like I said, just go ahead and pause right here if you guys want to read through these text messages. So in these threads, he's asking about the prenatal pills and her taking them a lot. She continues to say, when I was 12 weeks, we were told that my daughter was diagnosed with I don't want to mispronounce it, hemorrhaging of the brain that had formed into a sac. They didn't know just how bad it was because she was so tiny. I was devastated, but decided to continue the pregnancy because I was determined to love and take care of my child regardless. I found out a couple of days ago it was due to external interference by a geneticist at John Hopkins. She told me the interference had to have taken place when the baby was still being formed between 6 and 8 weeks. Nothing else about the baby suggested that her genes were the cause. So around the 6 8 week time frame, I had experienced a bleed, but was told it was normal, so I didn't think much. My doctors now believe that was the first time the sac had ruptured. I had another bleed on February 1st, 2022, and this just around the corner, guys. It was one gush of blood, fluid, and nothing else. I didn't know it at the time, but my water had broken again. Then it just kept resealing somehow. On January 31st, he persistently asked me how I was feeling, and I didn't get why, because at the time I was and had not complained once that day. He had came around and administered my pills. So again, he's texting about um, giving her the pills. So moving forward, my child's father poisoned me and her for months in hopes of her death, all while acting like the ideal boyfriend, switched out my prenatals, physically inserted abortion pills in my body, informed, and from what I believe, drugged my food as well. We dated for a year and 4 months before he physically assaulted in February. Prior to that, we went to elementary, middle, and high school together. Incredible. On April 9th, at 24 weeks, my water completely broke. Tests my doctors ran continued to come back negative for fluid. We assumed my baby was pushing on my bladder and I was sent home. 2 days later, I was admitted after very heavy, very heavy bleeding. I had lost all my fluid and there was no more surrounding my child. On April 21st, 2022, my daughter was born. The same day, her death certificate was signed. After her birth, I was told because of the constant interference, she didn't stand a chance at the properest or healthy life. Wow. Too much of her brain was compromised from all of the abortion pills, and I was fed through my pregnancy. So this day, I had no idea how many he's given me. I feel a way I cannot put into words. I was in labor for 17 hours. I held her for as long as I could, spoke to her, and told her just how much I loved her. I pray I could be with her again one day. What she faced and endured within me was not fair, and I wish I could have protected her somehow. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I pray that somehow, some way, some justice would be served to that man, that he would one day suffer the way I am in agony now. Again, I legally cannot confirm his name as my legal team has strongly advised against it. You guys, this is um well for one, I want to say that you know it this just happened. All right, we just it's May 3rd, literally. So this happened about a week ago, and this is still fresh, and I'm sure it's gonna always feel fresh, to her. But for her to come on social media and um, just share her story is huge, and I can see why she didn't put it in a video form. I can see why she just didn't hop on social media and start filming herself. um she probably would have been so emotional, and I can imagine how emotional she was just typing all of this. I'm glad she shared it. I've never heard a story like this of a boyfriend or anyone in that matter, trying to poison someone with abortion pills to kill a full-term baby. He was still giving her abortion pills and things of that sort when the baby was full term. So all because he played so. And again, if you have not seen the first video, click out of this, go watch the first video. He's Pakistani, and their cultures don't mix. And so um at the beginning, he told her that um he told her that his family kicked him out because they didn't agree with the pregnancy, and then he later told her that that was a lie. But I'm thinking now he did tell the family, because the sister is the one that gave him the so-called gas pills, which was the abortion pills. So not only did he have a hand in it, so did his sister, and I'm sure his parents probably did too. And it's nothing to, their culture or anything like that. Them as individual played a hand in this. But she did mention she's taking legal matters, and she should, and I'm curious as to, are there any laws to protect, women in positions like this? And if there isn't, then, you know, we gotta advocate for this. We gotta push the story. We gotta Millions and millions of people need to know about ABBA and her baby girl and what they went through um these past couple months. And so yeah, you guys, and I really, don't want to say too much. I don't want to be biased in no shape, form. Am I, picking sides or anything like that. I just don't want to be biased. I don't want to say too much. And, she is taking legal matters. You see what I'm saying? But let me know, you guys. Let me know down in the comment section your thoughts on this video. What do you guys think? What would you have done if you was in a position like this? Everybody handle things differently, you know. So let me know down in the comment section. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, because I'm dropping. I react. I do reactions. I like to drop stories like this. I like to drop missing person stories. I'm doing a series on a little girl by the name of Ariana Day, who went missing at 6 months. And if she's still alive, she'll be about 4 years old, maybe turning 5. So yeah, you guys, get into it, man. Subscribe to the channel, turn your post bell notification on to be notified every time we drop any type of content. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.